What's up, Taiwan? I'm Joyce coming to you from Taipei with the latest news. Taiwan's third largest party is speaking out against the re-arrest of their leader, Wen-je, saying that the corruption probe against him is damaging judicial integrity.
在赖清德所领导的党检一体的新威权体制下，创伤的不仅仅是柯文哲主席个人的境遇，真正重创的是台湾的司法正义以及人民对司法的信任。
Party heads are organizing what they call a series of talks across the country, kicking off with one in the capital Sunday night outside the legislature. Ke is in custody with access only to his lawyer, a detention that could last up to 4 months. Ke is being investigated over alleged corruption during his time as Taipei mayor. Leaders from Japan and South Korea have met in Seoul to talk about deepening security cooperation to counter increased aggression from North Korea. It comes as South Korea increasingly looks to Japan to help stabilize the region, even as it wraps up military exercises with the U.S., Jaime Okan reports.
It's full steam ahead for these South Korean and U.S. Marines as they race to the shore. They're simulating how to capture an enemy beach in South Korea as part of the annual Sangyong military exercises, which aim to boost security cooperation between the U.S. and South Korea. Sangyong translates to twin dragons, a symbol of the two countries.
이번 훈련은 한미 해병대의 견고한 동맹을 재확인하고 연합 방위 태세를 더욱 공고히 하는 데 목적이 있습니다. 앞으로 한미 해병대는 적의 어떠한 도발도 강력히 응징할 것입니다.
Exercises like these are becoming more frequent, demonstrating the close ties between South Korea and its allies as relations with the North continue to sour. Pyongyang continues to ramp up its weapons development, testing missiles and drones around the Korean peninsula. But South Korea isn't just leaning into its relationship with the U.S. for security. It's looking to neighboring Japan, which is also facing military pressure from Pyongyang to help tackle this challenge together. Leaders and security officials from Seoul and Tokyo recently met in the Korean capital to push this cooperation forward.
양 정상은 북핵 문제 대응을 위한 한미일 간 협력이 중요하다는 데 인식을 같이 하고 러시아를 뒷배 삼아 도발하지 못하도록 냉정한 대비 태세를 유지하자고 공감하였습니다.
South Korean officials have accused North Korea of providing millions of shells to Russia as it continues its invasion of Ukraine. That's in exchange for military equipment that North Korea can use to produce more weapons. To handle this threat, allies in Asia will have to work together, creating more robust relationships like the one between Japan and South Korea.
This relationship is absolutely critical for the stability of the broader region. One cannot overemphasize this. So it's very good that South Korea and Japan are working more closely together. For the US alliance with Japan and the US alliance with South Korea, they are separate, obviously, also to work. So to get some sort of triangle together.
With this new security triangle still in the works, the US, South Korea, and Japan are showing that they're working hand in hand as they tackle a more dynamic security environment in Asia. Dolphin Chen and Jaime Okan for TaiwanPlus.
The Chinese Navy has increased its presence in the Indian Ocean. It's a matter of strategic concern for countries in the region. Chinese military vessels have come in close contact with the Indian Navy in recent days, while India has launched a new nuclear submarine. To learn more about these developments, Adil Brar spoke to Shekhar Sinha, a former vice admiral of the Indian Navy.
Why are Chinese naval vessels in the Indian Ocean?
Their submarines are basically snooping around for the hydrology of our area. So are these, the ocean research vessels. They also have a very similar task of snooping, either underwater, hydrology, or when we do the missile firing, the signature of the missile radars.
Why does China want to gain access to ports in the Indian Ocean region?
China has got a policy of everything is dual use. They will take over, they will buy a port, or they will do the economic coercion to your neighboring countries. When they can't return the debt, the interest, they will ask for equity. In equity swap, they will get access to these ports. When you get access to these ports, not only for merchandise, not only for trade and commerce, but it can also be used by the warships. They already have Hambantota port. They also have Colombo port to some extent. Gwadar is with them. Djibouti port is with them. Only yesterday they have signed a security partnership with Morocco. So it means that we have a east coast of Africa, very close to the Mozambique Channel, from where virtually every ship has to pass through. Any ship which is rounding the the Cape of Good Hope.
India has recently launched a new nuclear submarine. Is India trying to counter China's growing presence in the Indian Ocean?
We have a second strike capability. This is the second in the series. We will be making more of these. The third one is about to be commissioned within 5-6 months. That will also be ready. These are called SSBNs, nuclear powered and nuclear tipped ballistic missiles. India has a policy of no first use as far as the nuclear weapons are concerned, meaning that we have the nuclear weapon, but we will not be the first ones to use. If we are not the first ones, then it means that we will respond to when we are attacked by a nuclear weapon. Now, how do you attack? And that is why it is called a second strike. First strike you will take from the adversary, and as a response you will launch a missile. How can you launch? You can launch from a land-based silos. You can launch from an aircraft airborne, for example, the Su-30, or you can launch from sea. From sea, submarine are the best because they cannot be spotted, they are underwater, and their position cannot be ascertained.
That was former Indian Navy Vice Admiral Shekhar Sinha. Super Typhoon Yagi has killed at least 9 people in northern Vietnam. That's after the powerful storm tore through southern China and the Philippines. The total death toll is now at least 27 people. Asia's most powerful storm this year, now making landfall in northern Vietnam, ripping metal panels off roofs and uprooting thousands of trees, leaving just a thin trunk for this person to hold onto against raging winds in the port city of Haiphong. Super Typhoon Yagi has forced tens of thousands of people in coastal towns to evacuate. Meanwhile, in the capital, people took cover under bridges as riding their motorbikes became virtually impossible.
Chưa từng gặp cơn bão nào bao giờ. Kinh khủng khiếp. Đi xe đi mà không đi được. Gió thổi không thể nhúc nhích được. Sợ gió có thể thổi được cả bay người đấy. Đấy. Rất nguy hiểm.
Vietnam is the third country to be hit by the super typhoon. Yagi's power peaked in China's Hainan, an island home to over 10 million, killing at least 2 people there and cutting power in over 800,000 homes. The storm had already left at least 16 people dead in the Philippines, the first country it hit, where residents are now trying to recover, cleaning away mud and debris from their homes. Here in Vietnam, people come out cautiously to gather bags of sand and brick to shield their homes from further damage. Authorities warn people to stay inside, as powerful winds are expected to continue as the storm moves inland and is forecast to move into neighboring Laos. Howard Zhang and Joyce Tseng for TaiwanPlus. A sale of U.S.-made torpedoes to Taiwan is set to be delayed by 5 years, according to a Taiwan news organization. An unnamed Taiwanese official told the Liberty Times newspaper that while the original plan was for all 46 torpedoes to be delivered by 2025, the deal will now be pushed back to 2030. The weapons, purchased for $250 million US, add to the growing backlog of equipment Taiwan has bought from the United States and not received, worth more than $19 billion US total. The torpedoes are intended for use on Taiwan's newly launched class of submarines. Taiwan is upping its domestic defense industry by establishing a new manufacturing campus for military drones. The site in Yagi County in the south will cost about $215 million and will include factories, hangars, and drone testing facilities. Taiwan is looking to have enough capacity to build 15,000 drones a month by 2028. The Postal Service has apologized after accidentally sending double salaries to over 10,000 soldiers this month. The error stems from a single branch in Taiwan responsible for distributing the money. The Postal Service says a new employee made a mistake when processing the payroll. Sadly for the soldiers involved, they won't get to keep the extra cash, almost $12 million. Postal officials say they have already collected most of the excess money.
还有剩下12笔，416953元还没有收回。那实际上这些电话我们打了很多次了哈，那有些是刚好储户款项已经先领走了，没有回存。
The Health Ministry says it is working to improve access to mental health services following a rise in deaths by suicide. Last year, Taiwan reported almost 4,000 deaths by suicide, with rates among young people growing by 200% in the last decade. Ahead of International Suicide Prevention Day on September 10th, the ministry has raised the age limit on its mental health program aimed at young people. The plan now provides 3 sessions of counseling free of charge at designated clinics for all individuals aged 15 to 45. Taiwan school children are the most overweight in Asia. That's according to recent figures published by Taiwan's health ministry as they try to bring more public attention to the issue of childhood obesity. Reese Ayers reports.
School children across Taiwan are facing a crisis of health and nutrition as the country's youth claim the undesirable title of the most overweight in Asia. It's a problem with serious medical consequences.
有些10几岁，他们体重过重了，就产生高血糖、糖尿病的都有呢。我碰过小孩子就开始在吃那个糖尿病的药了。
Despite a slight drop in rates compared to last year, figures from Taiwan's Health Promotion Administration show that a quarter of primary school students are overweight, a proportion that increases to 30% for students in junior high. It's a multifaceted issue, as medical professionals try to dispel the myth that children naturally grow out of their baby fat, while also driving home the importance of regular exercise.
建议学童每天累积60分钟的中度身体活动哦，那每周希望累积能够达到420分钟。那借由这个规律的运动的维持，能够来促进儿童的一个健康。
Health experts are also pointing to the fact that school lunches are often nutritionally imbalanced and are encouraging parents to try to do more food prep at home. But with an abundance of fast food restaurants and convenience stores selling cheap processed meals and after-school snacks, temptation is on every street corner, making it difficult for children to make healthy choices. Ryan Wu and Reese Ayers in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
Worshippers from a temple in Int'l have carried a statue of the goddess Mazu all the way up Jade Mountain. A team of 10 worshippers brought the icon up Taiwan's highest peak, which is also known as Yushan, to commemorate the Beigang Chaotian's temple's 330th anniversary and to seek blessings for Taiwan and the entire world. The climb had originally been planned for July, but was delayed because of Typhoon Kemi.
咱今年拄好顺逢朝天宫建庙330周年，我想请妈祖起来吼，做一个祈福咧，互大家平平安安咧。因10当前都爱去做妈祖起。即摆我年轻一代我想嘛是爱传承老一辈的精神。
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Finally today, we leave you with a look at the famous fluke tag competition in Lisbon, where teams compete to see who can build the best flying machine. I'm Joyce. Take care and see you next time.